Well, folks, according to the clock on the wall, it's just past 4 o'clock. We're scheduled to start at 4 o'clock, so I think we're going to get going. Good afternoon. My name's Brad Biller. I am a retired Operations Bureau Commander from the Bowling Green, Ohio Police Division. I'm also the leader of the team that's going to be assessing the Enfield, Connecticut Police Department over the next several days. The other member of the assessment team with me here today is Ms. Margaret Peg Schmidt-Fuller. Ms. Schmidt-Fuller is a retired captain of the Woodbridge Township, New Jersey Police Department. She has been directly involved in the CALEA accreditation process since 2001 and as an assessor since 2002. The Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies Incorporated of Gainesville, Virginia has authorized us to assess the Enfield, Connecticut Police Department, which is a candidate for police accreditation. The Enfield, Connecticut Police Department has voluntarily contracted with the Commission to work toward reaccreditation and thereby continue to demonstrate its professional excellence. When the agency originally entered this process, it received the Commission's Standards Manual, which contains 484 standards encompassing all facets of law enforcement, including management, operations, and support functions. The Commission most recently accredited this agency in 2016 after determining it had demonstrated its compliance with all applicable standards. The agency's proofs of compliance are on file at Police Headquarters at 293 Elm Street, Enfield, Connecticut. Since then, the agency has attempted to maintain those standards. Our responsibility as assessors for the Commission is to revisit the agency and verify that it has remained in compliance since it was last accredited. Alaric Fox, the Chief of Police, has appointed Officer Tom Pierce as the accreditation manager to oversee the reaccreditation process for this agency. In accordance with the Commission's public information policy, the agency's candidacy for reaccreditation has been publicized in this area, and the agency has arranged for this public hearing. The public hearing is intended to provide interested citizens or employees of the agency an opportunity to address us as we review the agency and will also be reported back to the Commission. If you wish to supplement your verbal comments with a written statement or exhibits, you may present them to our team at the time you speak, or you may send them to the Commission where they will be reviewed when the agency is presented for reaccreditation at a formal Commission conference. You may mail your written remarks to the Commission at an address that I can provide if you're interested. At the beginning of this meeting, a sign-in sheet was made available to those indicating a desire to speak. Those that indicated that desire to speak will be given an opportunity to address us in a few moments. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. If you wish to speak with any member of the Commission staff, you may reach them at telephone number 703-352-4225. The Commission staff representative for this agency is Mr. Paul McMillan. You may also email your comments to CALEA at calea.org, placing the agency name in the subject line. I would like to remind you that this meeting is being recorded on audio and video recording media, and that recording will be available to the Commission for its review. Are there any questions from the members of the audience that we can answer before we begin? Hearing none, I call Mr. Carl Safraza. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the town of Enfield. My name is Carl Safraza, and up until March of 2018, I served as a police officer for the town of Enfield for 38 years. From 2006 to 2018, I was the police chief. So this process, the CALEA process, is something that obviously I always felt was vital to the success of our department. A lot of people, a lot of the public don't understand that CALEA is not a mandatory process. It's one that agencies choose to undergo this outside scrutiny. And frankly, the reason that we do this, and Chief Fox continues it, is because we want to be the best police department we possibly can. And I can tell you that when I served as chief, the success of this program in no small way hinged on our accreditation manager, Officer Tom Pierce, who in my opinion is the best accreditation manager you're ever going to find. And I'll tell you why he was the best. because he would be relentless coming into my office or wherever he had to go. If there was a standard, a report needed to be done, and you saw Tom coming, you just did the report. But more important than that, we never embraced CALEA so we could have bragging rights and say we're one of 15 police departments in the state. I don't know what the number is now, it's probably pretty close, although that's pretty impressive. And it wasn't just to hang the CALEA certificate in our lobby, you'll see, look what we got. We didn't do it just to meet the spirit of the standard, but the substantive reason behind it. And Tommy would come into the office and say, okay, we met the standard on paper, but now we're gonna do it because it's going to make us better. That's the reason we did the standard, not to get our accreditation, was to make us better. And I can't begin to tell you over the years how many complaints we might have had that were put to rest when the other side found out that, yes, we do have policies on use of force. Yes, we do review use of force. Yes, everybody's up to date on it. It was a source of pride and comfort to me, and it saved the taxpayers an awful lot of money. So I am proud to say that since I retired, I now was elected for my first term on the city council. And I have a different perspective now in that my constituents, when I was campaigning and come up to me, they always talk about the department not as people that are perfect, but as people that are really good at what they do and how helpful they are. I know that Chief Fox embraces the same philosophy that I had with CALEA, but when people come up to you, once you're out of the department, and say, you know what, you guys have a great department, I always agreed with them, of course, but not because we had the finest cruisers, although we have great equipment. That isn't what made the department great. What made the department great were the men and women, both the civilian and the sworn staff, that they tried every day to do the best job they could. But we're all human, and this is a badge of honor that this department wears, is that if somebody made a mistake, we don't cover the mistake up. We just say, we got it wrong. How do we fix it, and how do we move on? When the assessors used to come when I was the chief, the number one rule is we're 100% honest. And if we didn't get the thing in within the deadline, we told you. But we were not looking for perfection. We're just looking for people with good moral character and integrity. And I feel that I'm well positioned to speak, having worked side by side with these people. And I'm talking about our dispatchers, our records people, our animal control, our officers, the whole department. They're a wonderful group of people trying to do the best job they can. I want to just also conclude as a city councilor that I'm especially proud of the efforts Chief Fox has carried on since I left, as far as CALEA goes, but also with his willingness to partner with the surrounding law enforcement community. I always was a big believer that if we could partner with the Connecticut State Police or the regional traffic or CREST team, it only benefited the people of Enfield. I'm saddened now that in our country, there are certain pockets of the country where local law enforcement is looked upon negatively if you're going to cooperate with federal police. We've always worked here with the FBI, Secret Service, DEA, and just recently, the chief had a agreement where we're now partnered with the United States Secret Service. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to speak for the department because I can't, but I believe they feel that law enforcement, when we take an oath, it's to the state of Connecticut and the U.S. Constitution. So if federal authorities need help finding criminals, gang members, whatever, our department is not one of those departments that says, no, we don't go out the back door, the federal people are in the front. That doesn't happen here. I'm proud of that. So I obviously think that they should be reaccredited because they earned it. They work for it. It's not a every 3-year process. This is a, you know, I think Tommy would take the week off after we came back from our convention, and then he'd start. And they work for it. It's a professional department. And The most important thing I'll leave you with is the moral character of these people is beyond reproach. Like I said, I'm not trying to say they're perfect, but their heart's in the right place and they work hard and they're a great group of people. And it was the best 38 years that I ever could have spent. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Riggett.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come before you and share my experience with the Enfield Police Department. I was going to say I'll keep it brief so the crowd has ample opportunity to speak, but I'll still keep it brief.
Thank you.
My name is Erin Riggett, and I'm the EMS chief for the town. I've worked for the town for over 12 years, starting as an EMT and moving through every position in the EMS department. That being said, I've worked with nearly everyone at the Enfield Police Department, from the dispatch staff to the police officers on the road, to the administrative team, and everyone in between. It is evident to me that the department is dedicated to their work as public servants. As you know, the Enfield Police Department is the town's first responding agency to medical emergencies. So we hold a similar goal, to provide high-quality medical treatment to the town's residents and visitors. It's been my experience that the police department's officers go above and beyond to achieve that goal. They are consistently professional, kind, and on point with the care that they provide. I cannot count on just one hand the amount of times a member of our staff has come to me to praise an officer for their assistance on a call. This assistance is often critical to a positive outcome for a patient, which can be life or death. Our departments, along with the town's fire departments, often train together to ensure the team operates as smoothly as possible. The police department has kindly provided training to our staff, most recently a course in handling violent patients. We asked if they'd be willing to help us, as we deem them to be experts, and there was no hesitation. I believe the actual response I received was, anytime, anywhere, as many sessions as you need. This training increased our ability to remain safe and to defuse situations. As the EMS chief, I have good fortune of working closely with Chief Fox and the department's administrative staff. We share ideas with each other, which is mostly me bouncing ideas off of him, to be clear, and work to ensure the town's public safety division are operating smoothly and efficiently. There's always mutual respect displayed during our meetings as we strive to the same endpoint. I could talk about the police department endlessly, as I have had nothing but positive encounters and interactions throughout my career. I hope that I have painted a positive picture of the department as a whole, from their dedication to the community and their willingness to work with other departments for the betterment of the town. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much.
Carl Libby.
Mr. Libby, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Carl Libby. I'm the marketing director and public relations director for St. Martha's School, about 2 miles that way. Over the last year or so, there's been a program that the Enfield Police have implemented with the school systems that has just been amazing. And I get to see it firsthand, which is really special. So we now have officers that come to the school rotating and have interaction with the students as well as the faculty. It's been really neat to see this take off, and the students have gotten to the point where they actually start recognizing the officers, interactions with them. I'm gonna give you a few different examples for this, just so you're clear with. I've been out with the pre-K class before, and an officer would come in, see the pre-K class going out for a walk down to the pond, see a couple kids straggling behind, walking hand in hand down to the pond together. I mean, you're talking 3 and 4 year olds. They've showed up at recess. They've gone and thrown the football with the children before. We had, 3 weeks ago, we are dealing with a little bit of a bullying issue in 4th grade. The principal was able to take the officer as an example, come on in and sit and talk about bullying with the children. You know, personal experiences and just an extra resource. The officers come down the hallway, the kids light up. Because they're involved too. They want to know, what are you doing, what's going on. We do a lot of the foreign language work in front of the principal's office. So the officers will actually sit down and talk with the children. In a day and age where there's plenty of scrutiny for the police departments, they're creating such a bond at an early age. It's just fantastic. I mean, it's almost to the point where we have teachers that are trying to pull the officers into the classrooms because the kids want to talk to them. They want to see what's going on, they want to be involved. So it's short and sweet, but I'd like to say that this program has just been absolutely amazing, and that's what I can speak of from them, and we're very, very grateful to have that. Children, just having them in the school makes us feel a whole lot safer, but seeing the children respond to it is even better.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time and your comments, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Earl, can you give us your last name, please?
I'd be glad to. Try to hide it. It's Provencher, Provencher. Sorry for my scribbling.
That's okay. I've been through worse. If you could see how I write.
Good afternoon. As I said, my name is Earl Provencher, and I'm the fire chief of the North Thompsonville Fire Department here in Enfield, specifically the station we are in right now, as well as a proud Town of Enfield resident. I come before you this afternoon to speak in favor of reaccreditation for our Enfield Police Department. As I know you are aware, it is imperative that emergency service organizations work as a team during incidents in which time after time will more often than not result in a successful outcome of that incident. Our firefighters work with police officers as well as our EMS force on a daily basis at many incidents. We also work as a team on the not so often significant incidents that all of our communities experience more today than ever before. On many events, our command staff becomes a unified command, which certainly promotes a successful incident outcome and resolution. In order for this unified command and for our unified personnel to work together better, we also train together. This allows police personnel to understand how we work and our priorities, as well as us to understand the operation and priorities of the police. Most often, these are alike, but can also be very different due to the nature of our work. So this working together is not also only very important, but crucial. The police administration meets with the fire and EMS administration at least monthly, and depending on activity, as often as needed, so that we can support each other for the ultimate goal, which is the service to the public and the safety of our emergency personnel. In conclusion, I realize my remarks are brief, but that should not in any manner be taken as anything but my sincere support for this reaccreditation. I know at some point here there probably will be some other people that you have to listen to. However, if you need further testimony from me about the great things done or the professionalism of our police department, I left my information, and any member of the police administration or certainly Officer Pierce can get in touch with me, and I would be most willing to discuss our working relationship further. I hope that your stay and visit in Enfield has and will be a pleasant one, and I wish you both a safe return to your respective communities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for yours, Chief. Thank you.
Lieutenant Robert Palmer, I guess. Lieutenant Palmer?
Yes.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Please provide us with your comments, sir.
Well, thank you for, thanks to Chief Fox for inviting me, and thank you for both of you for being here. My perspective as the commanding officer of Troop C in Tolland for the Connecticut State Police is one in which Enfield is a bordering town for my troop area. I found that the working relationship between the officers in Enfield and the troopers at Troop C is outstanding. I see a lot of similarities between how we operate as an organization and the expectations we have for performance and adherence to policy and procedure, and that's very much mirrored by the town of Enfield and their officers. Very oftentimes, by the time I'm involved in a set of circumstances, they have, by virtue of following all their requirements and needs, have satisfied everything that I could possibly think of, both at the state police level and for the Enfield, or for the town of Enfield as well. So I've had the good fortune of serving with Chief Fox for a number of years in multiple capacities, so I know him well. He's someone that I look to for, for guidance in instances in which we're all working together. But I know that very much that the things that the town of Enfield does relative to how we operate at Troop C mesh very well. I'm very aware that the expectations of performance for the Enfield officers is such that they're aware of their policies and procedures, they're familiar with them in such a way that when they're operating, they're adhering to them just by virtue of how they're doing their job in the field. Beyond that, we have an excellent working relationship just on a day-to-day basis, and I don't know that there's much more I can offer in an open comments, but if you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer away.
I very much appreciate your time and trouble coming in to talk with us, and I appreciate your comments, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In that I don't see anybody else here to provide us with any comments, I'm going to suspend the hearing for 5 minutes. I have 4:22 according to the clock on the wall. At 4:27, we will reconvene. If there are further people to speak at that time, then we'll listen to those comments at that point. If not, we will close the hearing. According to the clock on the wall, it's 4:29. We went past our 5 minutes. I'm going to reconvene the hearing. No one else has shown up to speak, so at this point, I believe that we will adjourn for the evening. Thank you for your attendance. Have a safe night. Thank you.